Well, g'day everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fly Fishing in Nature's Realm. Now, in this episode, we're tying another fly, and this fly is a great fly for our local waters. Now, when I say our local waters, I'm talking about lakes around the Ballarat area, around the Kyneton area, even Bendigo area, and the Ballarat area. This is a great pattern for these local waters. Now, what this pattern represents is a freshwater shrimp. Now, freshwater shrimp, trout love them, okay, and there's good populations. And I do find that the freshwater shrimp are really in big numbers in the trilogy lakes. And those trilogy lakes are Colburn Reservoir, Lauriston Reservoir and Malmesbury Reservoir. Great populations of shrimp, and this pattern we're going to tie has been really successful for me. Now, this pattern, I just picked it up a long time ago and just tied it. I didn't develop it, I didn't invent it whatsoever, but when I do hand it to my friends when I'm fly fishing, I always say it's a Lauriston shrimp. So I've called it the Lauriston shrimp. But that's not its actual name. I don't know its actual name, but what a pattern it is. It's a really good one. Now, I find that reservoirs like Colburn, Lauriston and Malmesbury, the shrimp are really in great populations around late winter through to early spring. They're available all year round, there's no two worries about that, but they tend to be in big numbers at that time of the year. So let's tie up this freshwater shrimp. It's a great little pattern, so I will now put up the materials needed to tie this fly right in front of us right now, and you can pause your computer at your leisure, write down all the materials, and you'll have a great reference source for this pattern. Okay, so let's start to tie this fly. First of all, we'll need black 6/0 thread, and we'll start just below the eye of the hook. Starting there, work our way down to the bend of the hook. And we'll stop basically when the thread is in line with the barb. And cut away the surplus thread there and make it perfect in alignment there. Alright, now the next material we'll need is bucktail. Alright, now we need two colours of bucktail. We need orange and red. Alright, now bucktail is a great material. It's very soft but stiff. It's an unusual material in that regard, and it's perfect for the actual feelers of the shrimp at the front there. So I've already tied or cut some of this away, and we mix the red and the orange together simply by just pulling the fibres out, placing them back in line until we get a good mix of those two colours. And then we will now take away, I can see that we've got a few long furs. We want them to be even and equal. Alright, it's probably about what we want there. Okay, so we'll judge it to be around about a hook and a half hook shank in length, and then tie that in. And then we'll cut away the surplus. And now what I like to do is to get this bound down nice and tight. So what we do is we take our thread back up to the eye of the hook. And we're going to fill that in too with material because the body is going to be tied from seal's fur, and seal's fur comes at a premium, guys. It's very, very rare these days, and probably not real cheap either. So building up the body with material affords us a bit less use of the seal's fur. Alright, so once we've tied that in, we now need to tie the eyes of the shrimp. Now, I have got the eyes already prepared. What did I do with it? Oh, there they are. Okay. So, we take the eyes. Now, if you want to know how to construct these, get yourself a length of monofilament, and I recommend 80, maybe even 100 pounds. All right, in strength there, and it'll be quite thick. And once you tie them out of this material, they're not going to come off, guys, because that's a really strong material. And what we do is just cut ourselves a length of it, and very short, and then we just bend it into a V, and then we melt the ends down with a lighter or matches or whatever, and then melt them down to the right size, which we've already done. So now we'll tie that in. And figure of 8 it is probably the best way to do that. That side, that side. Now, we don't want it too high, guys, alright? So what we need to do is to push those eyes just down a little bit. Not too far, but just a little bit. And then secure it again. Secure it more. Alright. So now, once we've done that, we need now to tie in some gold oval tinsel, which is on this spool here. And also a monofilament. This is actually called vinyl rib. It's like a monofilament material, but it's softer, more flexible, and it's great for when you want a transparency in any of your flies, and we just need a length of that. So have I got any down there? I haven't. Okay. There we go. There's a length of it there. Now, first put in the vinyl rib and tie that in. And then the gold oval tinsel. And then let's bind all that material in. Just cut away the bits that are going too far there. And then we bind the rest down with the thread going towards the eye of the hook. And then back again. Alright, now we need to tie the body of the shrimp pattern. And the body calls for seal's fur, guys. And what a great material seal's fur is. It's sensational. It brings life to the fly. Like I was talking about marabou feather fibres, seal's fur does exactly the same thing. It brings the life to the fly. It pulsates, and this is what we want. So we get ourselves claret and a little bit of pinky red colour, and we mix that together. Now, how do we mix that together? Simply by getting the two bunches of seal's fur, pulling them apart and then put them back together. Pull them apart, pull them back together, and continually do that for, until you've basically got a good mix of both colours in there. And that's pretty good. We've got that mixed nicely. Alright. Now, just grab a small bunch of that, starting off, and then we spin it onto the thread. And then we go between the eyes, and less is more, guys. It really is. When you're spinning seal's fur onto the actual thread, don't have too great a amount, because that's when it's hard to actually spin it. So you want just the right amount. Wet your fingers, that helps. And then build that body up. Because we're just doing a little bit at a time, it will consume a bit of time, but not a great deal. We want a sort of a tapering body. doesn't have to be exactly tapered, but I mean, if you look at a normal shrimp or a natural shrimp, their bodies are of a greater diameter at the head and finer diameter at the tail. And as you can see, the actual eyes and the head of the shrimp are at the bend of the hook. And we've basically got that done. So, body done with seal's fur. And at the end of the flight, you can prick those fibres out a little bit more as well if it's tightly packed. And again, it gives it greater life. It pulsates under the water, which is what we want. Alright, now the next material that we'll need is a hackle or a body hackle. Now, make sure you get the right diameter of the hackle fibres. I've already got one picked out at the moment. And strip away the fibres you don't want, and then tie that in at this point here. Cut away the excess, and then what we do is we wind that around the body, not too tight but not too loose either. Alright, so, and we want the concave to go that away. So I've got a bit on there, so let's undo that. Make sure that concave so that the fibres stick at a 45-degree angle. Like I say, wind that towards the head of the fly, and the hackle will have a longer fibre length at the back and getting shorter towards the head. And when we reach that point there, we take the gold tinsel, which is this one here, and we trap that down with the oval tinsel. Now weave your way through those fibres. Try to trap the least amount. You will trap some, there's no two ways about that, but we can avoid a lot. Until we get to the eye of the hook, and then we can trap that in, guys. and cut that away. And also the hackle, trim that surplus as well. Alright, now what we need to do now is to manipulate those fibres towards the bottom, because our next step is to create the shell back of the shrimp, and we use a material called polypropylene for that purpose. And we have our vinyl rib ready to trap that in once we do get it. So what I suggest you go out and get, guys, is this material here, which is called Scudback 1/4 in clear. Okay, it comes in a continuous strip, which is a perfect length or width that we need, and we have also the required length that we need. Now, point at the head, or that end at the head needs to be snipped away to a point. So we go, trim a little bit off that corner there, a little bit off that corner, great. Now get our vinyl rib. And give it a bit of a stretch when we do tie it in, just so that it's nice and tight on the body. Try and weave through the hackle fibres. And then trap it in with our thread. Cut away the vinyl rib, and with the polypropylene, pull it with a bit of tightness so that it flings back past the eye of the hook. Like so. Alright. Now again, we need to manipulate those fibres back in to position into a 45-degree position there, and build up a nice, what we'd normally call a head, but it's the back of the fly. And now we whip finish. cut away the thread. And there we have it. Now, a few other things that we have to do is to, again, manipulate those hackle fibres, push on them to get them at a 45-degree angle. Won't take you long to achieve that. And we need to now make the eyes of the shrimp nice and black. Line them up so they're in line there. Now we take our black varnish. Alright, this is a great varnish. Always dries nice and shiny, and is a great one for any eyes. So we just touch that little ball of monofilament that we created. And then the other one. All right. Right, so there we have the freshwater shrimp, and you know, with this pattern you can change the colours of the different materials. You know, you could use materials that are really transparent. Right? The polypropylene at the top is very clear, so if you have a transparent material underneath that, it's going to really imitate something that's very clear. And there's a lot of shrimp, freshwater shrimp, that are clear. There's a lot that are orangey colour, and there's a lot that have got a darker body, like this one in certain lakes. So you know, just changing your materials can, you know, incorporate different types of or shrimp patterns that are out there, or shrimp that are out there. So yeah, guys, tie this freshwater shrimp up, and you've covered yourself for those days when they could be out there, you know. And have a look under the rocks, have a look under the logs. That's where you'll see the shrimp. They'll dart out everywhere, you know what I mean? So, you know, whenever you get to any water, before you start fishing, you know, lift up some stuff, have a look around, see what's there. Could be mayfly nymphs, could be caddis, could be chirometid, could be shrimp, alright? And you'll have a pattern there ready for it. So guys, tie this one up. Alright, that's all for now, guys. I'll see you next time on Fly Fishing in Nature's Realm. Bye for now.